call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Blackstock.
Here.
Blair.
Here.
Horn. Here. Pat Sallis.
Here.
Oda.
Here.
Town. Here. Simons.
Here. All present and accounted for. Kathy, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Moving on to the approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or deletions to the agenda that need to come to the board? Hearing none, a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll support.
Been moved and supported that we accept the agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Excuse me. Next, we have the approval of the minutes of April 17th, 2017.
I'll make a motion if there are no corrections or additions. We make pass accept the minutes as presented for April 17th, 2017.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we accept the minutes as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to talk about anything that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have nothing for.
Getting up there.
Uh-oh, excuse me, I moved too fast.
The only thing that I'd like to say is, there's an opening on the Park Commission. I don't believe we've had anybody apply for that. It's one meeting a month on the second Wednesday of the month. If anybody's interested, they can call the Township Hall and get a hold of somebody on the Park Commission if they're interested. Another thing is the park opened today, so the gates are open. 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 at night, so please be respectful of the 9 o'clock time at night and try to be out of the park by 9 o'clock so they can close. And the Park Commission is sending out a survey in the newsletter. When the newsletter comes out, and there's different things on there, and you can rate them according to how important they are to you. And if you have other things that you're interested in seeing in the parks, there's a section on there to write in those things. You don't have to put your name on it. We're trying to get a feel for what everybody's looking for in the different parks. So if you go ahead and fill that out and get it back to the Township Hall. I think you'll be able to do it on the website also, if you go on the website, but it won't be up until it goes out in the newsletter. So that's all I have.
So the park's open and going, right?
Yep, open and going.
Did you make the Saturday deal for the soccer people? Did you get that all opened up and everything?
Last Saturday? Yes, yep.
And
Yep,
nothing
and-
on the canoe launch? I talked to Blaine, and did he get with you in that,
Did he get with me about what?
putting the canoe launch in?
We have a deposit down with a company that's working us into their schedule because we didn't, last year I scheduled that in January, and this year we didn't know we were gonna need somebody till 3 weeks ago. So we have a company, he came out and looked at it, he gave us an estimate, and we had to give him half down. So I'm waiting
Oh, okay, so you
to,
got, because I was gonna try to work it out with Blaine if, we could do on Saturday or something like that.
no, we have them coming.
We need some parts, right, because we lost
We
them.
have the parts
Okay.
are here. So we're just waiting for the company to see where they can put us in their schedule, and then Blaine's gonna take the canoe launch down there, and they'll be able to watch a little bit again this year.
Okay,
But Bell River is really, really high right now, so if
so it's
it,
probably better we don't have it. in.
yeah, if it doesn't go in for a week or two, it might be all right too. But we do have somebody scheduled to come out, we're
All
just waiting for a date.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Cindy.
Now, is there anybody on public comment? Anybody else, I mean? All right, moving on, there's no consent agenda, we'll move on to disbursements. We have invoices of $18,191.66. We have accounts payable of $211,221.84. We have a payroll of $13,741.80. We have a payroll direct deposit of $12,628.12. We have EFT payments of $31,904.94 for a total disbursement of $287,688.36.
I'll make a motion, we pay the disbursements in the amount of $287,688.36.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we pay the bills in the sum of $287,688.36. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Blair,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Pat Salad.
Yes.
Moda,
Yes.
Town, yes. Blackstock,
Yes.
Simons,
Yes. Motion carries, we pay the bills. All right, next we have new business. We have an agreement with the St. Clair County Council on Aging in your packet. This is where we give to them every year. If you look down in the lower right-hand corner, that's what we gave last year, the 2016. Excuse me.
We used to at one time give them $1,000 because there's a lot of people from East China use that facility. And
If
we
you
had a-
wanna,
we
we
had a
wanna up it,
problem.
we can up it.
We had a problem when we had the lawsuit against Edison and we couldn't afford it and we cut it back down to 500. Is there any chance we could run that back up to 1,000?
I don't have a problem with it. And anybody on the board,
Does the
make
rest
it,
of the board agree with it?
make it into a motion.
make it into a motion.
Okay, then I'll make that a motion that we increase it to $1,000.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we, our next agreement with the St. Clair County Council on Aging, we move our donation up to $1,000. Is there any further discussion?
Is that for this year then?
It'd be for 17, yeah.
Okay, so, because we had budgeted 500 for it, so, I mean, we'll have to adjust the budget then,
We may have to do
an
I'll
amendment?
have to see what's in that department.
Okay.
If so, we'll have to do it in a
But
budget.
I know we used to give them 1,000.
Well, I remember we did, Don,
We
yep.
had to cut it back.
So we have a motion, we have a second, and there's no further discussion. Roll call, please.
Horn,
Yes.
Pat Salad.
Yes.
Moda.
Yes.
Town, yes. Blackstock.
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Simons,
Yes, motion carries. Next, we have a quote for a network switch from High Tech. All I know is that they were in there to hook up this new stuff that we've got, and they're telling us that we need this switch now. I thought it was done the way they did it before, but evidently we need more now.
Must not been compatible with their equipment.
Well, they said this switch is wore out,
Oh.
needs upgrading 10 times slower than the new current model.
the switch is old, worn out, and it's too slow for the new equipment.
So what are we looking for, 758.93? Is that what-
Yes. These other prices we're not doing.
Were them other prices done last time, a couple meetings ago?
What's that, Don?
I don't know
Other
the
prices in
details.
there.
Do you know anything, Kathy?
The
What-
total bill. The total bill was 1602.68 according to this. We're just after the 758.93.
Yes,
They're after the switch.
just the switch is all we need. These others are, these other items are,
Already approved.
yes.
So we're saying this is above and beyond what we authorized 2 weeks ago or a month ago?
Yes.
Does everybody understand that?
Did they not check the switch when they came to look at
I
what they were
don't know.
quoting?
That's true. They didn't operate the switch, and then when they hooked up the new equipment, then the switch was slow.
Well, if it's that slow,
It's up to the board.
You try to talk to them, and it comes out gobbledygook,
Talk to,
high tech.
what's clerk think? You're in charge.
That's what I said, it comes out gobbledygook when you try to ascertain exactly what they're doing. There's a lot of technical jargon that's thrown at you and that
yeah, we don't
you
understand.
don't totally understand, but we can see it work, and it's slow.
10 times slow, faster.
Do they know how old the old one is?
I forget, but it's
Is it over 4 years old?
probably about
Oh,
10.
No, then it's,
I'll make a motion to pay the additional $758.93 for an upgrade to a switch, for the new system we've put in.
I'll support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported that we authorize High Tech to install this switch, network switch. Is there any further discussion on this?
Larry, I would like to know, when we do put something out for bid, and it comes back, and a company bids a price on something, when something like this arises, I mean, I would almost like to see us go back to the original bid then and take a look at it to see what we can do, because, I mean, $800, we're talking about saving 10. This is 10% of what we're gonna be saving, about 12% of what we're gonna be saving.
I don't know if this is in the same part of the computer system.
Well, the thing is, we're in a situation right now where we have to do it.
Yeah, we got it.
You have to. You have no choice at this point. So, I mean, I think when they come in and make a quote, I think they should stand by their quote.
They should check everything.
They should check everything to make sure what we need, there's what they're quoting. Because at this point in time, we're stuck with doing what we're gonna be doing, and again, that's quite a large chunk of where we're looking to go with, as far as what we're gonna be saving.
Well, then what is all this other stuff that they say we don't need, but they quoted us a price on?
everything else is gonna, the patch cables, all that are the cables. The same cables that are plugged from your computer into the wall. They're probably newer than what they have, I'm guessing, that's why they wanna replace them.
That's why I asked if it was compatible. That's
It's older,
company.
it's old
We gotta
equipment
do it.
that they're.
We gotta do it.
That they're,
We're stuck, we gotta do it.
they're recommending or they're offering to upgrade, but we don't need it.
But we do need the switch.
And they, High Tech acknowledges we don't need it, they just threw those numbers out to sell us some more.
And I talked with the office manager, and she did say that it is slow. And,
Oh, yeah, it's definitely something we have to do now. I mean, you have to do this.
do you want me to, look into,
No.
call them?
No, I just think for future, we
Okay.
will have to have some kind of a binding agreement when they make a
Well, they
quote.
bid on something, they got a bid on all of it,
Yeah.
complete.
Like I say, I'm not computer smart at all. I admit that. Okay, no further discussion? Roll call, please.
Gonzalez,
Yes,
Loda,
Yes.
Town, yes. Blackstock,
Yes,
Blair,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes,
Simon.
Yes, motion carries. Moving on to item 3 under new business, the agreement with the Marine City Little League. That was sent to me a month or so ago.
February 12th, 2
Yeah.
months.
Well, I mean, that's the time I got it.
100
Yeah.
bucks, don't we?
Yep.
Make that motion.
Again, this is something we have always done in the past with the St. Clair Little League and also the Marine City Little League. I'll make a motion that we donate $100 in a service agreement with the Marine City Little League.
support.
Well, the board might look at and make it at 150 or 200. This was dropped too during all negotiations.
Yeah, this was dropped, but
Yeah, we were, I think one year we paid 50.
Yeah, we've been paying 50, and then we jumped it to 100.
Just a
Well,
suggestion,
if we're
guys.
paying a little bit out, I think it's a lot better than paying 3,000 to have to have our fence repaired because people are being malicious. I think Little League is a great thing. and
Right, and I
it-
agree.
It,
And if we want to up it, it's, make a motion to up it. Don't have a problem.
Whatever
We have a
do-
motion on the floor right now for 100.
Whatever we do here, again, I think we're gonna have to also do for the St. Clair Little League.
Yeah, so then we'll be giving 200 to the Little League.
Yeah, so.
All right, do we have a second for that?
Yes, I support
We
it.
have a second for
It's
100.
been moved and supported that we give the Marine City Little League $100. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
So you're not considering it 200 though.
We will give 200, one to each of them. We have a motion first, we have to deal with that motion.
We can change.
We can change it if you want to, make another motion to add it larger.
Motion's already been made.
What was that? Did you start the roll call?
I got the first syllable out.
Okay.
Are we roll calling 100 or 200?
Well, 100 to the Marine City.
100 to.
That's what the motion was.
Okay, vote on.
Yeah,
Town, yes. Pat Salas,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes,
Blair,
yes,
Blackstock.
Yes.
Simons.
Yes, motion carries. Moving on to resolutions 06-2017, which is the opposing of the construction of the nuclear waste repository in the Great Lakes Basin. We were asked to do this by the county. It's quite a lengthy one. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that's what it is, and I'm offering that to the charter of East China Township, St. Clair County, at the regular meeting. I'll read part of it here. Whereas Ontario Power Generation is proposing to construct a deep geological repository, which is an underground long-term burial facility for all Ontario low and intermediate level radioactive waste at the Bruce Nuclear Generation Station. Some of which is highly radioactive and will remain toxic for over 100,000 years. This site is approximately 1 kilometer inland from the shore of Lake Huron, about 400 meters below the lake level. Whereas the water is the United States of America and Canada's most important natural resource and should be protected and managed prudently. Whereas the Great Lakes are irreplaceable natural resource containing 20% of the world's and 95% of the United States fresh water vital to human and environmental health. Whereas the Great Lakes are vital to the economy and agricultural well-being of both Canada and the United States of America. Whereas Lake Huron and the connecting waters include Lake St. Clair are a source of drinking water for millions of people downstream in the United States and Canada and First Nations. Whereas concern has been expressed over the proposed GGR by individual citizens and environmental groups and municipalities in both counties and both Canada and the United States. So this will be on file, so I'm offering that resolution.
I'll support.
All right, it's been moved and supported, the resolution on the nuclear waste. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
aye,
Opposed? Motion carries.
just to mention to the board, I think what they ought to be investigating over on this site too is that plant across the river, that fertilizer plant that the Canadians have got over there. When I was on the international committee back a number of years ago, we were over there, they took us through there for a tour on a bus. We got near one location which was fenced off with signs, dangerous, skull and bones and all this kind of stuff on a fence. And the driver, someone asked, well, what's behind the fence? And the driver says, you don't really want to know.
Really?
He says, you won't be able to walk here for 25,000 years. So it's something else they might want to look into over there.
Okay, yeah, we can mention that to our representative.
Be interested to find out what they got buried there, but I know the guy explained it, it's so much clay, then there's a plastic membrane that went down, that's so much more clay, and another plastic membrane, so much more clay. Then they put in whatever they put in, and they covered up with tarps and all this kind of stuff, they reburied it. Now, that's what we're told when we're over there. So, people are looking
Well, we'll
to
mention that
too.
to our representative. I would think that's where we should go with it. I mean, I don't know who else to tell it to.
The guy could have pulled our legs, I don't know, but he claimed 25,000 years before anybody could go in there.
Wow. Okay,
Yes.
moving,
Can't be any more than 500-600 yards to the river's edge.
is it really? I know you can smell it at different times here. I think it's south of Marine City, isn't it?
That's the one across from Fawn Island.
This is the one right over here, it's right across the township, right almost across from the hospital.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay, moving on to Resolution 07-2017, authorizing and empowering DT Ameritrade. Mr. Boda, would you like to, I think this, you can answer the questions and read the resolution, I guess.
Okay, it's a resolution for authorizing and empowering TD Ameritrade Incorporated. Whereas I hereby certify A. Craig Down and the clerk of the Char Township of East China duly organized and existing under the laws of the state of Michigan, and that the following is true copy of a resolution duly adopted by the Township Board of East China Township, held on the first day of May 2017, at which a quorum was present and acting throughout and by unanimous consent of Township Board members, and that such resolution has not been rescinded or modified, it is in full force and effect. Be it resolved that the following elected officials of the Char Township of East China, specifically Supervisor Larry Simons, Treasurer Donald Boda, and Clerk Greg Town, are hereby fully authorized and empowered to open a brokerage account, transfer, endorse, sell, assign, set over, and deliver any and all shares of stock, bonds, debentures, and notes, now or hereafter staying in the name of or owned by the Char Township of East China, to purchase stocks, bonds, debentures, and notes to make, execute, and deliver under the corporate seal of the Char Township of East China any and all written instruments necessary or proper to effectuate and the authority hereby conferred. Be it further resolved that the authority hereby conferred is consistent with the Charter of East China Township, unless indicated above that I am an officer. The previous is a true and correct list of the elected officials of the Charter Township of East China, and as of the present date and a record of the official signatures. All resolutions and parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution be and the same are hereby are rescinded. What this is a company, this TD Ameritrade. I know him by several on the board, past and present. I did spend, they didn't think I was doing enough to look around for some areas to place some money. Actuality, I was. Problem was, we ran into brick walls, and some places you could get they would offer a CD, but it was less than what the savings accounts were, which were miserable to begin with. A number of banks would not invest public money from the township or a city or anything like that. They would not put it into a CD. They would not accept them. More brick walls we're running into. Evidently, Sandy Smith emailed me and said that she was getting some kind of stuff from this this TD Ameritrade Incorporated, saying they could invest township monies into certain CDs or savings accounts. The CDs were higher than most that I ran across at the time I was looking. And there was one there, but I don't remember the company, but yeah, they were offering I believe it was 2.25% interest on a CD. We missed that one. There's one out there now which we probably will not make, which is with the, who was it here? Company, that was, Wells Fargo. And they're offering one presently, I believe it's at 1.25% CD, which those are a lot higher than the accounts that we are in now. We've got most of the savings accounts with piddly interest rates. Seminar which I attended here about a little over 2 years ago up in Frankenmuth for treasurers, how to invest. At that time, they made a statement saying that the state was making sure, they said you could not invest your money in a company, in a bank of any kind, unless that bank's home office was located in Michigan. And how many banks do we have whose home address is in Michigan? Not very many. So that was making it harder. I now just recently found out, I talked to the law firm that represents the MTA, I was on the phone with them. Found out that law was changed a while after the seminar, but nobody was informed about it, at least I never was. And now they're saying that all they have to have now is that the bank has to have some brick and mortar or something, office here in the town, here in the state, and you can invest in it now. Before you couldn't, now you can. When you couldn't talk to anybody. So this company is TD Ameritrade, evidently is on the seat, or they've been around for some time. And they can invest, you tell them how much you want to invest. You want to invest 100,000, 200,000, whatever, tell them that's what you've got to invest. And the next, say for example, the next CD that comes along saying they're gonna offer 1.75% or something like that, they'll call you and let you know this thing is out there, this CD, and would we be interested in getting into it? And the question I came up with is, the company doesn't do this for anything, so they got to have some kind of a fee. Who pays the fee and how much?
How secure is it?
Yeah, well, the honest thing about it is, who's paying the fee and how much is it? Accordingly, I found out that the company that's offering the CD, like some bank, they will pay a fee, a couple of percentage points, to this AT Ameritrade. Because AT Ameritrade will go out and find them customers for these CDs. So they will pay, they are the ones that will pay the fees on this. The township would not. We've got, say, some figure, and we want to invest it as a whole. We don't want to be taking fees out of it. That's the way it is now. So anyways, that's what's been boiled down to. I guess luckily we found this thing out because I haven't got much hair left in my head, but I was getting ready to start pulling them because you couldn't get any answers from anybody. There was one where, for example, AAA. I had me going through a AAA office. I seen some sitting on a table alongside the door. Buy CDs through AAA. They were offering 2.5%. I picked one up, I took it home, I started reading it. You know, sounded great, sounded wonderful. And I was gonna call him, I went down through the rest of the paragraph. 3/4 of the paragraph says this does not include public funds. Cannot use the public funds. Again, ran into that. So I just tossed it away, no sense talking to him, can't call him, the same thing. So anyways, that's what it all boils down to.
Question, Don? In the resolution, it talks about stocks, so we wouldn't be buying stocks, we'd just be buying CDs?
CDs.
Okay.
Yeah, I said, it's one thing, when Sandy mentioned this, I told her, we aren't gonna be getting involved in stocks. They're too up and down.
Right. Well, we can't, I don't think you can legally.
Well, I don't know if you can legally or not, but like I said, I went to that seminar a couple of years ago in Frankenmuth, and you walked out of there and they pounded it into your head that you could not, unless the branch always had the home office in Michigan, don't bother talking to them, because you can't go through them. And then
Question.
you get a little bit, you get past it, you get a while past it, now they say you can, so what changed their minds, I'm not sure. But that supposedly is the way it is. When I talked to the law firm that the MTA has, I called them folks, and like the guy said, I got some literature I can email you. He said it's a new response, it's a new answer to the law after it changed. This is the way it is today. So he emailed me, and I got all that stuff in here.
So they're saying this Ameritrade is okay to deal with then?
I asked the lawyer, I says, have you heard of TD Ameritrade? And he says, yeah, I've heard of it. I says, good thing, bad thing, or you don't know, you're not really sure. He says, let's keep it on the side of, I'm not really sure. He says, I haven't heard any complaints so far, but, that's what I'm recommending to everybody, because now you can do it, now you can make the purchases of the CDs, but you go through them, and that way, they're the ones that are doing all the footwork. They get notified there's a CD coming out, certain percentage, they're looking for customers. So if you're,
Don, I have a question for you. Is there a cap how much we can put in TD Ameritrade? Or is it just a cap on how much in the
you have to stay
subs.
with the 250 grand cap, that's the insurance, the rate level.
Okay, so that would be with the different CDs within TD Ameritrade, or that's a total amount that you can do with
I'm not sure, I
TD
think it's,
Ameritrade?
I think
all I know is I was told by the lawyers, they said if you open one up, you can go up to a max of 250,000.
Okay.
That's what the insurance covers. They would not recommend going above that.
TD Ameritrade is, this is a question. They're a broker, and they collect a finder's fee from the CD owners, the providers.
Yeah, that's what Don said.
You're saying
They would
Okay.
be earlier, right?
So that's, they're collecting the finder's fee, okay.
Yeah, we won't be paying the fee.
We don't pay the fee, the fee's paid by the
It's built into the CD.
CD, person offering a CD, the bank or.
All right. I'll second.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on this? If not, roll call, please.
Roll call?
Well, I guess we're not spending money, we're just investing. Okay, everybody understand what the
We're gonna empower TD Ameritrade.
the resolution is?
Yes.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, or resolution. Moving on to announcements. I have no announcements at this time. Member comments. Mr. Horn,
I have none tonight.
Mr. Patsalis,
I'm good tonight, Larry, thank you.
Mr. Boda.
Just one thing, I know last meeting there was discussions, stuff and talking about, people taking the drug test for marijuana or whatever is out there. We know that was discussion was going on,
Correct, yeah,
going here.
and I didn't report back on that, but I can.
going on. You know, I still thought about it after the meeting, and I just, saying, you know, him or her, if they try to hire into the park for whatever, you know, grass cutter, or, I don't know, whatever they do over there. And the question is asked, if the park manager asks them a question such as, you know, if you're on marijuana, you're gonna take a drug test. If you're on marijuana, you better tell me now. If you are on marijuana, is it medical? And I was sitting there thinking, well, you know, you can get some guy or gal that can sit there and, you know, and say, yeah, I take the marijuana, but it's medical. I think at that point, the township or the park commission all say, we want to see a doctor's report stating that.
Well, I did call the attorney on that, and the attorney said you cannot ask somebody when they're applying for a job if they have a medical marijuana card. And the attorney said that we probably should treat it as alcohol impaired. Do you want somebody impaired, whether it's prescription drugs, medical marijuana, alcohol? Do you want them working for you and operating equipment?
Well, that's was the next thing, you got the guy riding around on
Right.
a 60-inch.
Next to our kids. And
Motorcycle.
I say we shouldn't hire anybody. I don't think we should do anything with our no tolerance drug policy. I think we should keep it just where it is.
That was just a thought I had. after
Yeah,
the
I'm
meeting.
glad you brought that up, Don, because I forgot to report on that. But that's, I mean, it's up to the board if they want to change the policy. I'm saying, my opinion is we shouldn't change our zero tolerance policy.
I'm just saying, a township can cover it both ways. They say, yeah, I take, but I'm medically I can take it. We'll just say, okay, I want to see a report from the doctor that says you have to. If you can't produce one, forget it.
Right.
You're not gonna be riding around on
But-
a lawnmower running.
But
people
even if
over.
they do produce it, Don, do we want that person there? You know, I mean, my feelings are I don't want them there if they're using, even prescription drugs. I mean, you can be impaired on prescription
Oh,
drugs,
sure you can.
you know.
That's all I had.
All right, thank you for bringing that up.
So it's a consensus?
Is it a consensus that we want to keep our drug policy the way it is?
I've got no problem.
I agree.
All right. All right,
As
Mr.
long
Towns?
as it's working.
Huh?
As long as it's working, keep it away.
Well, we're having trouble getting employees is the problem. But maybe we have to, you know, search more or pay more, I don't know. Everybody is having trouble getting people to work.
Younger people,
Yeah, it's hard to find people. Mr. Town,
no comment?
Mr. Blackstock,
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. Blair?
Yes, I was on the East China website, and I want to thank Sandy and Sandy for doing such a good job keeping our dates put together. And it's a great site, and if any of our residents are interested in what's going on, it's a great resource.
Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you.
I got a couple of things. Remember we did the Recor lift station down there several months ago? We were trying to be proactive and rebuild those two pumps. Well, we sent them out. Like I told you, the one didn't make it. They took the first one out and we were operated on one, and then they brought that one back and put it in and took our other one out. They didn't even make it to their service station or wherever they work at it, their shop, and the other one had failed. And we've had nothing but constant problems with these pumps ever since. Those are the ones we did with Jet Pump. They've been out here, I don't know, 15 times, 20 times. They tell us that we have other problems with the pump. So Blaine said the representative came in from Kennedy Pump the other day, and he was telling them what our problems were. And Kennedy said, well, we'll send a guy out and we'll pull the pump out and just do a visual on it. Well, they pulled the pump out. They called me down there today. The pump is overheating. Whether the seal has gone in it again, I don't know. But we can't operate without that pump. Right now, we can't take the pump out and let them take it for a month and not bring it back because we're in our highest peak season for our water.
The next 3 months,
So what, Blaine and I and the guy from Kennedy, we said, we think we should put it back in and we'll run it sparingly.
Is this the one by the hospital?
No, this is one here at Rico Road,
Oh.
the old sewer
Oh,
plant.
okay.
That's our biggest station, and it's an 8-inch pump, and they called around to see if we could've got a rental pump and put it in there, we'd have let them take the pump. But, right now, it's just critical that we got so much water coming in as wet as it is, that we need to have it there. It'll run, it just runs hot. What I'm telling the board is Kennedy, I told them to take all the nomenclature off the pump and, kind of figure what it would cost to have them now look at it and put a seal in it and put the right coolant in it, or if it doesn't have the right coolant, I don't know. And they were gonna give us a price on having a spare, a new one. So we would have a spare pump for that station. I mean, it's probably gonna be expensive, I would say. I asked the guy, what did he think? He thought around 15,000. But that might behoove us to have a spare for that station, being as though that's the biggest one. Then the other thing we're gonna do is, we gotta decide as a board what we wanna do with these lift stations. We have 9 of them. They haven't had a whole lot of work on them in the last 20 years. I mean, we maintain them. The guys have done a great job, or we wouldn't have got this much life out of them. But now their capacity is starting to approach where they're running all the time. So, we've either got to rebuild the structures we have, or we've got to, put some new lines in with some other lift stations, make the sewage go different directions than what it is. As, I don't know if you all know, but the sewage, like say from Springborn Road, goes to Urban Drive, to Point Drive, to Rico Road, and then all the way back out to the station, the pump station, or the sewer plant. So I mean, we're pretty much maxed out on all those lines. If we were to do any new development, west of Bell River Road, we couldn't do it. So I'm not saying that we have to do that right now, but I think we've got to rebuild the ones we got, especially like the Urban Drive. The hospital one up there, we put a Band-Aid on that when we fixed the bearings in it, so that's something that's gonna have to be addressed. So we got to decide which directions does the board want to go? Do they want me to pursue fixing the ones we have? Or do we want to look at expanding our system to handle more building? Or do you think we're going to get any more building? I don't even know.
I think you should have a spare pump for your main ones down here. You should have a spare.
I kind of agree with you, Don. Well, we don't need no motion or no movement on this right now, because we don't have no prices, and the guy's gonna get it to us, so it's probably gonna take a week or two, but hopefully at the next meeting I'll have something.
Is this something that we need to concentrate on with our asset management plan?
Very positive, yes. That's why I'm kind of waiting until these guys go to the class, and we send Dwayne to the class to see what, they're saying we should do with this stuff. Yeah, that's very vital. I think that's what we need, this asset plan.
We also need an engineer that responds to us, that can get started on looking at these lift stations.
Yep, so that should be,
That needs to be first.
that's the first thing we're gonna do, and we've got quite a few replies for that engineering when we're bidding out the engineering. In fact, I met, Wade Trim came in here last Friday and met with myself and Mr. Town. They're eager to help us, but I told them, well, we're bidding this out, so if you're the winner, fine. If not, whoever it is, that's who we'll work with.
Nothing was ever said about their charges though, for doing stuff.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that'll be in we'll be able to ask them those questions when we get them here. But we may need, depending on how many we get, if we get like 10 applicants for this engineering, do we want to bring 10 companies in here and interview them?
I think we should stick to the local ones if if you got enough local ones, then you can.
So we may have to form a committee of a couple of us to look at these 10 bids, or however many we get, and maybe narrow it down to, 3 or 4, and interview them for it.
Because if you got local ones, you can get right back to, if you needed something from them, you can call them up, and they're right here.
Right.
Or we had a lot of them that were from way over in the state, the west side. You can-
Yeah, we got a lot of those when we did the accounting too. Remember, we had that guy from Traverse City.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'll be getting more with that when we get these, I think the thing closes on the 24th. Anyways, the other thing is, I want to set up a special meeting for the union contract. We have a tentative, I guess, I call it a tentative agreement with the union right now. I would like to have a special meeting and go into closed session to talk about this contract. And then after the special meeting and the closed session, that we come out of the closed session and go into an open session and probably vote whether to yay or nay this contract. So I will be setting up a special meeting. In fact, I guess I'll make that a motion, that we set up a special meeting for next Monday at 7:30. I know there's one board member that can't make it, but does that work for the majority of us?
7:30.
I
Yeah.
have to check my brain yet. That's the 8th?
Is that what it is, May 8th?
The 8th is- For me is all right.
Okay. Okay, so I made a motion. Do I have a support for that?
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we set up a special meeting for the union contract for May 8th at 7:30 here at the Township Hall. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You need the motion, who's
Yeah.
seconded?
Mr. Horn. And I already talked about that medical marijuana, as far as our zero drug policy. So is there anything else, anybody else has any comments? If not, a motion to adjourn
Where,
would be,
where are we gonna leave it with the pump now? Are you gonna,
I'm gonna wait till I get the information back from Kennedy Pump.
so it's gonna be okay right now? I mean, to
Well,
run
it
it the
should
way
be
it
all
is?
right for a few days. I mean, if I have to make, we can probably settle it at that, when we're
Special
back in
meeting?
open session at that meeting,
Okay,
a week from now,
okay.
okay? Any other questions? If not, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting at 8:19.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we adjourn at 8:19. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.